Gentlemen, I want to express, on behalf of the members of the Congress,
a lot of it was really the fact that the need of our time anointed me in a certain way that just appeared. It wasn't something I designed. It wasn't something that I asked for. It was certainly nothing I expected. But each time opportunity knocked at the door, I greeted it as a sense of privilege. And there was something that could be done with this opportunity. It's how I met Eleanor Roosevelt, how I met Dr. King, my exchanges with Mandela when he was in prison, all the artists that I met along the way, all of it was just daily coincidences. And it was looking at each moment and assessing and evaluating, how can I apply this to the mission of a greater truth? What am I here for? Is it just to make money? Is it just to be popular and to be anointed? Or does all this have a deeper resonance and a deeper meaning? And by those whom I historically appreciated, what others had done before me became the measure of my own life. And I think a lot of us have that well to draw from. There's an awful lot that's gone on with people before us who we can use their example to help design our path. And I'm just very fortunate that so much touched me. Whose hands were on the throttle of power. And the things that we discussed gave me a zone of comfort because they were caught in the web of historical circumstance. Everybody was in this game for how they could beat it. The administration, whether it was Kennedy or Johnson or others, had an objective, and so did we. The course of negotiation made us have a comfort zone with each other once they felt they could trust me. Because what I think was most anxious making for them was that I had all this celebrity and they weren't sure that with this high profile, confidentiality would have been protected. You know, the press being what it is and how it gets into the mischief making, what would they do if they knew about what we were saying? So that a lot of the stuff that I did in that period, even in the film here, has not been revealed and not stated. There's nothing clandestine to hide, it just was at the table. And once the administration became comfortable with the fact that we could talk and that there would be a high regard for confidentiality, and certainly Dr. King and the people on our side of the table were comforted with that fact. It was manipulating the celebrity that was the most difficult part, especially when I started to reach out to fellow actors and singers and people who trusted what I was doing and where I was suggesting we go. And when they threw their resources and their trust behind that, then I think the rest was fairly easy and adventurous. I remember him as a force that comes only once in a millennium. I don't know how many more Dr. Kings there are in the world. I'm sure there are. But it was absolutely, even now I'm having difficulty trying to describe knowing him. It was an experience that's not easily defined, because people have to bring just normal thoughts to the table of what they think it would be like knowing him. But you have to understand, when I met Dr. King, he was not the Dr. King that I knew at the end. So it was always a part of the daily journey. I watched him grow. I watched our movement grow. I watched people feel confident in what we were doing. And I watched the opposition, become extremely aggressive and cruel. We were so busy dealing with all these facts that we didn't get a chance to indulge too much on what we felt about each other, except that the trust was infinite, and the belief in one another was infinite, and that held very strongly up to and even until today. But knowing Dr. King was its own journey. I have not completely absorbed it. It still reveals itself every day in the things that we do now here. When students and people ask questions of me, I find out that the resonance of Dr. King's teachings and the inordinate success we had with our campaign. Because people have to understand that though we've had detractors and people have chosen to rewrite history, the truth of the matter is that everything we set as our goal in the civil rights movement to do, we did. We missed nothing. Every campaign we set for ourselves, we successfully executed. You know, the things we were not quite ready for that defied us, and that was in the afterlife. We were quite ready for the campaign itself. What we did not prepare for as well as we should have, I'm not too sure how we would have done it, is in fact, now that we have succeeded in so many ways, how do we govern? How do we take these new successful encounters? How do you sit in the halls of Congress? How do you sit in the parliamentary process? How do you make decisions that will be used to charter the new course for America? We had no history.